doing it for real. Are we live on all the socials and stuff?
I believe we're live. I think we even maybe have some comments coming on stage today.
We cannot do comments.
It'll be your dad. Will be the first comment.
I know, it's really great that I got the dementia, buddy, and then he'll text, and like he, learned to read when he was in his 50s or whatever, and so then him typing, but he doesn't type. He's like, "Are on speaker," and he's texting in there. Love you, amen. You don't ever know what's coming. I'm sending something right now to help Bing Bang, since that's all I do. I don't have time to prep for this playoffs. I knew that was coming. Yeah. But that would be we could get so many people on the show. That's going to be the cool part in the off season, probably. But there's so many cool people you can get on a show, right? That you would be like, oh, that'd be great. But could you imagine having Jim Mora on just for the hell of it? That'd be so much fun.
I don't
and
even
he'd
know.
be a good sport.
We're so committed to doing these at the same time every week, that like I don't know how we can even schedule guests.
I mean, we're live right now. What's cool is, I'll be out at a football game here in a little bit, which I can't wait. I love this time. And when I look at the playoffs, I want to go to every one of these games. Just like last week, I wanted to be at the Cherokee Spirit Lake game after I saw the score was 58-57 at overtime, and just what it meant to be a kid when I was growing up and actually make the playoffs. It was almost impossible. And to, our really good friends that are now our friends, they were older than us, but the Jeff Cooks and Rob Adridge,
I don't know if you call them friends. I don't.
Well, they're my friends. They hate you, but and they should, but for them to be able to play in a playoff game, he just didn't get in. And so it's so special. And we've talked a little bit about all of the live streams, which is an amazing alternative. And it's so great for family and people, that can't get there. But I mean, for me, going to the game is super important. If you can get out. But what's been going on with the live streams is pretty cool. But what I kind of got you into before you started becoming a big business guy was just being on the field, the highlights that we're able to get, the up close, to be able to promote the sport, and then just to get in with the coaches and get that insight look has been a blessing. But nights like tonight, I mean, it's like going to be 35 degrees probably at some point tonight, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And it's even a little chilly here in Florida today. It was sweater weather. Like I got the sweater on, and so a little sweater weather.
I thought we were getting you a new shirt. I asked a couple ADs to send some gear. I haven't got it yet. I heard a couple saying they're doing it, but
I told them to just send it to Bing Bang, and Dave will have to do the John Gruden box opening. So
yeah, but I haven't seen anything at Bing Bang, so I'll have to put up the address. I'll send them the address, I guess.
So I think I've figured out the comment side. If you want to comment on this podcast,
I don't.
If we have anybody out there in the world, like I know there's been some folks on Facebook trying to comment. I don't think I can get the Facebook comments to come through.
Well, people don't even know we're doing it right now.
Oh, no, there's
no
like
idea.
100 people online already, it looks like. So if you want to comment, you want to be live, and you want to partake and participate in this show, you have to go to the Two Brothers Podcast YouTube page, and you can comment live there, and it will come through the show. So if you would like to, send it through there.
Really cool. A lot of things going on with the company, and it was just like a full circle thing. A couple of weeks ago, we went and did Bo Burns, and we're through the IFCA and the Player of the Year stuff that we've been doing the last 3 or 4 years. We wanted to go see Bo Burns, and then he, of course, went clear over across the state to Riverside last week to take on one of the state's leading rushers in Jackson Gordon. And then it sounds like just through relationships and stuff, we're going back to Brooklyn on Monday, and that's going to be great. Those things are really cool. It doesn't have anything to do with football, this with their opera house, but we're working on that. We were at Manats last night. What a great company. These companies in Iowa are such great people founded on, the bedrock of high school football.
The Tom Rinaldi bedrock.
It is. It's really cool. So yeah, we'll take those comments, but everybody who was anybody was at Manats open house last night. The facility they put together here in Ankeny is phenomenal. And Brandon, for years, we had a hitting facility, ISA, right there. And Manats was there.
That. Yeah.
And you're like trying to drive in there, and that's where all of our kids hit and everything. And who knew, like, 10 years later, I'd be back there. And that facility's gorgeous. So saw Jack Whitver there. His health has been, something he's been battling. A great high school football player from Grinnell, representative for the state
Coach
of Iowa.
Dunn, right?
Yeah, played for Coach Dunn, played at Iowa State. So it's just neat to see him and to see him with a lot of positive energy and just continuing to promote our great people and our great workers. I think the thing about Manatsa was really, really great was, they build safe roads, they build infrastructure to help people get places, and they're really passionate about it. But the facility inside, Brandon, with the wraps and stuff, it was cool. So great experience.
Yeah, really cool. And that's some of the fun stuff that we get to do every day. Like we get to come on here and talk to each other and podcast, right? But like every day we get to go out and create content that really we share the stories of these brands that we're powering, which is pretty amazing. And sometimes we take that for granted. I know I do, that we get to do that. So pretty special. Today is Halloween.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I didn't dress up. I could have got my Elvis. I didn't even think about that.
You got to wear Elvis to shoot football tonight.
No, I'm not. I can't do that, man.
You have to. That would be amazing. If the little toe tipper, if you've ever seen Dave at an event, like a high school football event, when he gets to run and he's just like little toe tapper,
high shoulders, yeah,
high shoulders, toe tapper.
Yeah.
And so if we saw that in the Elvis costume,
my Elvis. So they have trick or treat here tonight, and it's weird they're having it on a Friday, and so I'm not going to get to see the grandkids. But my Elvis outfit, it's tight. It's like the 70s. Yeah, it's tight. I don't think I can wear it. It would not be good.
That would be awesome, actually. You need to wear it. That'd be gold. So it is Halloween. This is the first time we have ever broadcasted the Two Brothers podcast on Halloween.
Yeah, first time ever.
First time ever.
Yeah, first round of the round of 16 playoffs, first time ever too.
Pretty crazy stuff. So all right, let's go a little Halloween edition today. I was looking at and I was thinking Halloween today. Your favorite costume of all time?
That I've seen, that I've wore, or
that you personally had? You're probably going to go the Elvis that you wear every year to hand.
Yeah, I wear Elvis every year, and then I'll accent it with like a Seahawks hat or a Hawkette softball helmet or something like that. So I've done that. But I had a crazy friend in Montana, and so back in the day, Saturday Night Live, Dan Aykroyd and Steve Martin dressed up as the wild and crazy guys from the 70s, and they were really, it was total 70s outfits with the really tight pants and the bad shirts and the gold chain. So did that one year. So that was fun. And Kim would probably be able to remember more, but I think the thing for me was I was a fuddy-duddy. Like I didn't want to do Halloween. And then I realized when we had that office down in Valley Junction, they had a Halloween store right behind it. And that's when I just decided I'm going to get an Elvis outfit and I'm going to be Elvis every year. And so people in Glenbrook, they'll remember that.
I remember
Elvis 2922 Southwest Coves. Dad would sit there with me.
Just talk to everybody.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So it was done. It was good.
I'm working my way through on my phone. I think I got the live chat. Let's see if I can
pop. Are you trying to like engineer the show? Like,
yeah, I'm like
technically
doing everything from like 3 different computers right now as you're talking about. I do remember though the 2922 Coves Drive Elvis.
Yeah.
100% remember that.
Yeah, it was cool. And I was so good. The Parkers, our neighbors, were really close with, and I made such an impression that one year Sam dressed up as Elvis. So it was Elvis and mini Elvis. But yeah, I had the 70s, the really bad, when he was going downhill. So the USA America outfit. So what do you got going on there? You got something cooking on the. What was your best costume?
Best costume. So my best costume there, I commented on it. There it is. So if you want to comment, there it comes through. Best costume for me, it was in the yearbook. Like I remember the photo in the yearbook and I had it for a long time. The yearbook photo, it was me as Randy Smith. So I was the race car driver. I was sprint car driver Randy Smith. So I had the kind of Steve Brazil looking blue race suit,
Yeah.
and then I just had the black helmet. Like
Yeah.
it was money. So I wore that helmet to everything. I think I even ate lunch in the helmet.
So was that when you were pretty young though?
I think I was second, third grade
Yeah.
when I remember it.
Randy Smith just dominated.
The Rim Rider Randy Smith.
He just dominated yeah. It was him
and back to so I didn't anticipate this taking a Randy Smith turn, but it's gonna. So when I got into covering a ton of sprint car racing, that's one of the things that Bing Bang was founded on, was covering sprint car racing for Knoxville Raceway. I had the hardest time covering Terry McCarl.
Really?
And Terry's probably watching this. I could see Terry chiming in here in a second.
Yeah.
Terry was the guy that I just could not cover because Terry and Randy got into it one time, and they had to haul Terry out in the trailer because he wanted to fight Randy. And
yeah, well, that's okay. I mean, that's the way sprint cars.
I know, but as a young kid, I just could never like Terry because he was after my boy Randy Smith.
Oh, so
it was probably the same year I wore the Randy Smith costume to school.
Yeah, so this was pre you, before you became ornery and everything and figured out life.
Yeah, I was probably 9-10-year-old. I wore the Randy Smith costume, and then later that year, Randy Smith and Terry McCarl get into it, and they have to haul Terry out, beating on the trailer door as they leave.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't like Terry, and then I show up 20 years later, and me and Terry are flying to Australia together on the same plane, and I'm like, I still can't like you. I had to tell him, here's why I couldn't like you. And he's just dying laughing.
Yeah, you and Terry have a lot in common, actually.
That's funny.
Personality wise.
So, all right. So your best costume, my best costume is Randy Smith. Your best is, did you end up Elvis? I was trying to do 7.
No, I'd say the Wild and Crazy Guys from the Saturday Night Live skit. I would probably Steve Martin.
That's not bad then. All right. So now let's go in, and then we're going to hit all kinds of really fun things. So candy draft, best Halloween candy.
Oh, the full candy bar. I mean, just straight up the Snickers. I mean, you just get a Snickers, you're like, that's awesome. I mean, I just, as a kid, a Hershey's bar or a full candy bar was awesome. And I always wanted to do that and we did some cool stuff over the years, but now we're out with our grandkids. And so there won't be anybody at the Binghams tonight. I'll be at a football game. My wife will be, so that stinks that we can't give anything out, but we're usually pretty generous. But the apple was the worst, right? When you got the smart aleck, dentist, my son-in-law is a dentist.
Does he give away apples?
Advanced family dentistry if you want the best service. But yeah, they won't, but those dentists always giving out the apples or whatever. That was the worst. But no, I just think when you get the full candy bar, you're like, those people are rich. Those people got money.
I remember that. You'd go back to that place every year.
Yeah.
You're like,
or you'd wait a little later and turn your mask around and go get another one when you were really dealing.
So my best Halloween treat, I won't say candy, was Mama Jeannie Gilderbloom's cheese bread.
She gave out cheese bread?
She gave out cheese bread. It was the bomb. You just knew every year you went to Mama Jeannie's and you were going to get a slice of cheese bread.
So you'd go to their house where it's on right from East back in the day?
Right across the street, yep. And you would get cheese bread. I'll bet you money, and we need somebody to report back on this. I'll bet you money that if you go to Mama Jeannie's tonight, you're getting cheese bread.
Really?
Yeah. There should be a line from here to Hudson.
So that became a thing. Maybe she got a little more popular after I got out of there, but
I think you were always her favorite Bingham though, still.
Well, yeah, that's the one person that loves me more than she loves you guys and loves Dad. I mean, me and her, it's weird. I've told you this story. I mean, she called me Little Binger, and nobody else, that was never said by anybody ever again in the world until I got to Montana, and Rob Monaco, a photographer, started calling me Binger, and it went away when I got back to Iowa until they called the sports office. And then Walters goes, Binger, huh? Binger, that's a good one. So then it came back around. So
yeah, Gracen, I remember when Gracen went to Mama Jeannie's for daycare, and he was Little Binger, which was always funny. Because I was like, that isn't what his deal is. But whoa, I didn't mean to do that. Get rid of the comments here.
Yeah, you got lots of stuff going on.
Yeah. So the other stuff. So best Halloween candy, Mama Jeannie's cheese bread. I think that's not really technically candy, but we will definitely. That's probably one of the best.
Yeah.
All right. So other things kind of happening. I was pulling up stats and some different stuff over here too, but so Gracen turned 13 this week,
That's
and
weird.
yeah, for his birthday, which was kind of fun. We surprised him, and Dr. Warnick took his cast off.
Yep.
So
Episode 6 or 7, we talked about the break or whatever. Now the cast is off. I thought the weird thing was when you were filming him coming out and Bailey telling him that he just looked old and
he
weird.
is old.
It's weird how fast boys get old like that.
Yeah. So kind of fun. Like here he is going in to get his cast off.
Yeah.
You know, he was kind of like, holy cow, I just on my birthday, because he was all about skipping school. Like that's all he wanted to do. His mom was ready to beat him. And so then I snuck him out of school to go get his cast off. So technically he thought he got his cast off. And so also if you want to see post cast that day going out for a little birthday, like
Nice
what is that
shirt.
outfit?
Nice shirt.
That's why I took the photo. I'm like, I just have to document this outfit. But yep, so cast off, but not fully unleashed to the world yet. Like I thought maybe he'd play baseball this weekend. He's got a tournament this weekend, and I was hoping that like cast off, go play baseball, let's go. And
See, this is where he looks old. I don't just like not awake,
yeah, he was
just
dead to the
going to
world.
college. Like, what are you, 20?
Bailey's just giving him the business there. But yeah, so so we're trying to figure out, like me and him are trying to devise a plan if he can get the glove on for tomorrow and still play.
Eh,
And then Angel was
not.
really smart, and she was like, he's not going to be able to not dive all over on his wrist. Like he's just not capable of not doing that. And she's right.
Yeah, and I think that's the reasoning. Like you're either going to go all out or you're not. Yeah, you can't halfway do it.
So I think he'll probably be another couple weeks, and then hopefully can be playing some 18U baseball with the Keswick elite team, which will be fun.
Yeah.
In other news, in other Bingham kid news, Bailey's team did take care of business.
All right, you got pictures and rings and necklaces.
I don't know. I was not good on getting everything prepared for this.
Yeah, I got one. I think
I got a cool ring picture here.
Yeah.
There's some rings. Pretty cool. Like I don't have anything loaded into the show, which would have been good. But let me see if I do have a picture. I wish
it's just isn't it ridiculous? Like the bling and stuff that they get.
Oh, they get so much stuff. It's like actually kind of cool what they get, but it's crazy. Here, I'll try to pop this one into the show.
Airdropping on the fly.
Airdropping stuff on the fly. I'm gonna have to screenshot something on the fly. Like it's just gonna be the whole deal. But this team they played was from Canada in the championship.
What? So you mentioned that. Do you know exactly where they were from? I wonder if they were a group that we're used to hearing about down here. Who do you know where they're from, or did they have a
name? I don't remember exactly where
we'll
they
talk
were
about
from.
that later.
Yeah, but they were the team name was JQFP 12U Stars.
Okay.
And so it was just a fun. It was a cool, and they're well coached.
Yeah, they're really well coached when they come down. Yeah. Yeah, but like, they kind of have a really good attitude, and
they had a great attitude. They were having fun with everything. So like you can just see like our girls are tiny, like, and then you see in the red, their girls like are towers over our kids.
Yeah.
So this was the championship celebration after, which was fun, and so they had a girl that was best pitcher, and I think you can see her. She's got the yellow sunglasses on over here on the left side. She could throw gas.
So yeah, for you to have her at, what'd you say, they're at 40 feet?
Yeah, they're at 40 feet, and I bet she's throwing high 50s, low 60s, just bringing it.
Yeah. Yeah, if that's all she's got, you got some kids that can catch up to it, but she got more than that, you're in trouble.
Yeah, so she definitely working on a couple pitches, you can tell. But Bailey threw a couple balls in play off of her, which was good, and I think it's always just fun. So we scratched a couple runs, but we had some girls really like I think if you see Emily right in the middle, I think she hit like 3 balls off the fence this weekend as a 10, 11-year-old. So it's pretty cool to watch some of these girls and the growth that they go through, and
Yeah.
pretty amazing. What else did I have?
You guys need to work a little bit on bunting though, because I mean, when you get into that situation, you know you got to have a plan. Couple bunts, couple active bunts,
So
angle down.
Coach Barnes and I actually were talking about that over the last like 12 months. So we both had the same philosophy in 10U. Just show up and out hit everybody. And then
Not when you got Jackie Traina throwing for you against you all of a sudden.
And so 12U, he's done a really good job of situationally putting kind of that game plan in place to move runners, to push, and like we've bunted when we need to, and we take care of a lot of things through that bunt, which is
Well, it's
pretty
so
amazing.
fun. It's so fun if you're equipped to play a little small ball and have a good. I mean, it's what the Blue Jays are doing. I don't know if we'll even talk World Series, but I've just been.
That was my next talking.
The Savage kid is it's a freak story and it's so cool. But if you get into a 10U game and all of a sudden these teams that have those kids that have just been dominating and nobody has an answer, that's a wake up call all of a sudden when somebody's just shortening up, bunting, putting the ball in play, putting pressure on, and that's the only way sometimes that we had a chance of winning. At high school, you just don't know based on the year and what's going on. And that last year I was coaching, that's how we won against a really good pitcher. And I think it's the most satisfying. Brandon, that first year that you saw me as the head when Amy left, I didn't have that skill set to make that adjustment on the fly or prepare for that. I kind of had it, but it didn't really believe in it, kind of what you were saying, because we hit 57 home runs or whatever. We just blew people out. And then we got in a semifinal game where we probably, in the first inning, should have recognized, we probably should have been doing some small ball and got the runs early and changed the game. So I think it's more rewarding, to face somebody just that you can't beat or doesn't get beat by putting the ball in play. And the Blue Jays, they have done some 2-strike hitting. They have done some directional hitting. When I talk about directional hitting, people think I'm an idiot. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm out. So you guys just sit there and figure out how to hit the ball as far as you can.
Yeah, fly out all day. But no, the World Series has been really fun to watch. Like I haven't really got locked in on Major League Baseball, but this World Series has seemed to kind of pull a lot of people in, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know, if it's having the Toronto market, having the Los Angeles market, and it's kind of the world's colliding. But like having an 18-inning World Series game, get out of here.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, Shohei is such a great personality, and I think he brings the world's eyes to it, and
Correct.
what he's done has been incredible. But the sport is so humiliating. You got to be humble, and it's like as good as he's been. There's times where he can't hit anybody, and that's just what's great about the game of baseball. I love it. And your Savage, I was like, okay, when's this gonna blow up on this kid? And I was almost like, keep running the dude out. They were like celebrating when he came out of the 7th. If I was coaching that team, I'd have been like, just keep him in. But I get it.
And I think the thing that's captivated me, it's all the big things that have happened, with Shohei and all the things, but it's Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
Or not Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
It's the catcher Kirk for the Blue Jays. Like,
yeah,
he's like the everyman's, like just out there taking care of business.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the heartbeat. And a lot of these guys haven't. I mean, when you go up and down the roster, there's not, 30 years. These aren't all vets. I mean, but they all had some tough guy in their life that, the Clement kid. I mean, there's just some grinders there. These guys that are 220 hitters and they're hitting 400 in the series and getting on base, putting the ball in play. I mean, for them to lose Springer and then I don't even know. I can't remember the dude's, the librarian looking dude that led off with the homer. But I mean, you've obviously got Vladimir Guerrero and Jr. and Bichette, which are two extremely. I mean, you can go through the whole Dodgers lineup, but those kids are talented. But when you hear Bichette being interviewed afterwards, you just realize how much of this culture, how much work is involved. Because he didn't get a play in the ALCS, and then all of a sudden he's back in the lineup. But next man in, I guess, and they're going to be without Springer in these next 2 games. Dodgers could still win the series easily.
Yeah,
But
I think it's probably the Dodgers still to lose even,
yeah,
but
just
I
if
think
they
the
don't
world's
win.
pulling for the Blue Jays.
Oh yeah, they've been fun.
So it's fun, and so you watch, Kirk and his everyman dad bod catcher, and just rolling in there, and here we're at the World Series, and he's just going to take care of business. But it the only other thing that I had to cover before we kind of run into Iowa Football Coach Association Player of the Year talk was fantasy football.
Yeah,
So we talked a lot about fantasy football because I absolutely beat the living crap out of you a couple weeks ago. I'm
it's
still
really
rolling.
changed your whole season. I mean, your team has really responded well since then.
Yeah, our locker room's pretty good right now. We had a bunch of owners calling us out this week because our locker room is such a positive place. We had too many guys on our rooster, like, and so
I don't know if I'm going to give you back your guy. I gotta.
yeah, you cut extra guys off my team. Like I
I
have the
know, but
I have
you're
the
always the one
secret
that tells me. You're always the one that tells me to do that to other teams, and then I never do it.
Yeah, I have my secret weapon for later in the playoffs, Brandon Ayuk, and now all of a sudden he's just I don't know where Brandon Ayuk is. Like he's not on the waivers, he's just gone.
Yeah, somebody complained about your roster, and so I was like trying because I like the app doesn't have it, but so I had to go on the phone into the
Well, your text on
website.
your phone is this big,
No,
so
but yeah, but it's not. So then I was like, oh, I got to drop a player for him, and then when it when I looked later, it dropped Ayuk too. I'm like, that's classic.
yeah, it's crap because like I was just having tryouts at my practices this week, for
You and Duvey and Roth, you guys all use that roster thing to your advantage until you're like, I was gonna cut a guy, sure.
well, what's the
Think
actual rule? I haven't played a game. I didn't
Well,
need to
just be a
cut
good
him yet.
person. It's all about like, that's what I was talking about with Jeff Cook and Rob Adrian. Those guys are good character guys. Showed us
Oh man,
just be a good person.
I don't believe it for one
Except the
second.
Corso ones, because Nate sent me a snap or something that he said that he's going to send me a case of Ensure, and he had like a picture of Boswell because he had 15 field goals against me.
I
Just like,
love
come
it.
on.
All right, that's all I got for some random stuff. Let's jump into Iowa Football Coach Association.
People have got to be wondering what's going on.
Yeah, a little Kenny Baker to Halloween music.
Did you type in NFL films, Halloween music, or what did you type in?
No, I just real quick Halloween music and boom, that's what it was. It was perfect. It was almost like when I pulled that video out. So that's the Little Wilk just bringing it on the highlights.
Yeah, he's
probably.
texting me right now, for crying out loud.
Just bringing it on the highlights, and all of a sudden does some Halloween music. And so I felt like it was Halloween and NFL Films had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, Little Wilk video, just bringing it. So there's nothing better than seeing a little Gabe Baker, a little Beckett Baker, just bringing it to some Halloween music. So that was the game you guys covered last week. Talk a little bit about that.
It's fantastic to be able to be with Coach Lonnie Powers from Waterloo West, and haven't had a chance to ever. He's been there 15 years, and they've got a really special thing going, I think, they're just well coached. The coaches are really trying to, work with young people, not just from a football standpoint. And I thought that was great. And, all of our coaches do that, but, really deciding where we were going to go last week was like simply, Gabe, you beat Waterloo, you beat Waukee Northwest. You got Waterloo West coming to town. Should we come to your game? He's like, sure. So it was great to highlight both programs. Both ended up getting in this week. So they'll be out at it. I mean, Waukee goes to Liberty to play Reese Redding and the boys and Scott Chandler's crew over there. So that'll be an interesting one.
That's not a gimme for either one of them. I think that's going to be a tough football game.
And Waterloo West has the I guess drew the short straw. You don't want to play Dowling right now. They're coming over to play at Mediacom Stadium tonight against Dowling. So, they're a tough football team. They can run the ball if they play good defense, get some turnovers. Maybe they make it a football game. But kudos to both programs. It was a fun game because it really both of them it meant something to them. So it was cool. And yeah, Wilt got his new lens. Little Wilt got his new lens. Thought he was a happy camper. So he's out there shooting video and sent us that video today.
Where are you guys headed today?
Well, I mean, we haven't really. You're not able to always catch some of these programs. So Glenwood's coming to town, and I just thought it'd be interesting. Corey Faust is, one of our favorites. We like all the coaches in the state, but he's coming over, and we don't even know if North Polk will have their quarterback. But Tabrink and the boys coming off a state championship run. Jack Armstrong is, the leader of their program. He banged up his knee and wasn't able to play last week at Gilbert, and they just got smoked. So you want to see, how programs react to that and what's going to happen. So we'll be North Polk, Glenwood. It's close, obviously. The bearded wonder who got a lot of fame on our last podcast, Jesse, who's really the heart and soul of all of our shoots that we do with Bing Bang. He gets all the glory. But yeah, we went through. There's too many games to pick. I mean, I want to be at all of them tonight, but that one's close, and it'll be interesting to see. Probably won't be with a 4A next week, but thought we'd pick one up this week.
Let's walk through some playoffs here, the round of 16. Let's walk through some games for on Halloween Friday night here. So Class 5A, I love how they've put them in the pods again. So there's 4 pods. So
do you think they should reseed them after this, or you think they should just put them in pods? Do you think that's better?
I think just leave them in the pods and then let the pods play each other, right? So you already know your path. So they're reseeding these after the pods, right? So
yeah, once they get to the Unidome, they reseed them, which I think is good based on the last RPI. The pod thing's interesting, and I'm fine with whatever as long as you know the plan. But I always wondered if you just put the matchups out there and then just reseed them again, after this round. But it's okay. It's just really weird when say Liberty and Ankeny, might have to play each other, but Waterloo West upsets Dowling. It's just like they could avoid each other. Things like that. If something were like that were to happen, but it's okay. But when you look at those pods, Dowling and Waterloo West or Iowa City West and Cedar Falls on the other side of that bracket. Obviously, it looks like they earned the number 1 overall seed with what they got with the RPI, but the Pod C and Pod D and Pod B, I mean, look out. It's just tough.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and I think it'll be fun. Like this round of 16, I think this is where the rubber meets the road. All of a sudden you're going to start seeing, and this is what's going to be fun for us with the Iowa Football Coach Association Player of the Year, is a lot of those kids are going to start to shine really bright tonight.
Yeah.
And you'll see them really just come to life.
Yeah, and this is it, Brandon. I mean, we talked about the flash and the dash and the pretty stuff that's happening. It's a little colder. It's definitely where the winds are 15 to 20 right now. I'm sure they're going to calm down a little bit before game time, but you're going to have to tackle. You're going to want to have to tackle in the cold weather, and you're going to have to be able to run the football a little bit tonight. And I don't know I haven't looked at the extended forecast, but it's kind of interesting how you've got to be ready for these outdoor games in the last 2 weeks, and then everything gets better for you.
If you're 72 degrees and beautiful inside the Unidome.
If you're a speed team or whatever, but yeah, the dome takes its toll as well, though.
It does. That's a whole different ball game when you get to the dome. Just ask Scott Corseman and his basketball shoes.
Yeah, he wasn't ready for it.
Class 5A, and then I think as we start to look at Class 4A, and there's some potential really awesome matchups in here this round of 16, but the round of 8 and the round of 4, I'm already looking forward to some of those as we look ahead, and you talk about Gilbert coming and taking care of, North Polk, and they get Lewis Central coming to them. I don't imagine Lewis Central is too bad.
You don't want to play Lewis Central right now, just getting better and better every week. They always do. And they've got a sophomore kid that's just on our player watch. And he's one of those kids that he goes for a big game tonight, and who knows, he puts himself in that race. And and Newton's as good as we've seen, and I think has
Yeah, but
really
having to
rebounded.
play Fort Dodge, that's a
Yeah,
tough round of 16 game right there. 2 8-1 teams that I think whoever comes out of that game will probably struggle with Gilbert or Lewis Central because I'd imagine it's going to be super physical Fort Dodge Newton.
yeah, these are definitely pick'ems in the 4A. It's a pretty even field. It'll be fun to see who elevates. I think Xavier's kind of push themselves as the team to beat, and why wouldn't they be? They've always been right there, but it seems like they've really got it up to another level. Don't look out for Pella. I mean, the
Yep.
loss to Newton, but the Deers kid, a really nice story done locally here by John Sears at WHO this week. And I encourage a lot of people to go out and watch that if they get the chance. But I
Mr.
mean,
Sound Off.
then you got two like perennial powerhouses in Decorah and Western Dubuque waiting for you on the other side. But yeah, Sergeant Bluff Luton's probably as good as it gets too. And they don't have an easy one. Lamar's is coming to town, but 5-4 Lamar's team, but they'll be ready to go.
And then we kind of move into Class 3A. Clear Lake 9-0 and looking pretty unstoppable, but here comes Mount Vernon. And the Haverback kid could ultimately just pole vault himself into I am the player of the year when he goes and beats Clear Lake tonight. If that happens, that's one of those moments. That's the defining moment in a season.
Yeah, it'd be really cool. The neat thing tonight is in just a couple of hours, I'm sure the kids from Odebolt Arthur and Battle Creek Ida Grove are already on their way to Kemper for the 2A game, but there's 2 games at Carroll tonight. I always think that's cool. Thought about going over there and trying to do both, but didn't want to get crazy. So Nevada will be playing at Carroll. So the winner of that game will survive and get Clear Lake Mount Vernon. Yeah, Mount Vernon's a dangerous team you don't want to deal with right now.
I didn't realize that. That's cool that Nevada is playing at Carroll at 8 o'clock and Odebolt Arthur and the Fighting Jacks the Jeans are going to Carroll Kemper at 5 o'clock. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
It's happened at Ankeny a few times. It's kind of cool to have that doubleheader. I think it's really special, and I don't think it matters to the kids and the players. I think they'd love to. The tough one will be the second game, as you're like, oh, is this gonna? Because I do think, based on what we saw the last time we went to Kemper and saw that matchup, I think there'll be some balls in the air. So that game might take a little while, and then if it becomes a close game or whatever, there's going to be a lot of throwing. So it could run a little late, but they got a 3-hour window there.
Yeah, and then Benton, Solon, Independence, and the Fighting Bearded Wonder, Jesse Landahl, Winterset, Huskies.
Yeah, Winterset just making it happen. Got a big win, that shutout win against Williamsburg like just 3 weeks ago. It was just crazy, and they've done nothing but take care of business. So, and in that district, it's so weird because the 3-way tie was with Nevada, Winterset, and Williamsburg. Williamsburg's the team out there after all of the math. They're the 3rd seed, and then they beat Des Moines Christian, who has more losses in the district, but they had higher RPI. So 3 teams from that district get in, and Williamsburg doesn't.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Des Moines Christian's thank you gift is to go to Sioux Center.
That's a little bit of a trip.
That is a trip, and
I should have gave them a map on the best way to get there.
Yeah, moving up a class and everything too, to be 3A, and here you go to Sioux Center. Then we have Mount Pleasant, West Delaware, Central DeWitt, Wahlert Catholic, so
defending state champ there. Yeah. That'll
be
good.
It's good. So then you started talking a little 2A, Carroll Kemper Catholic, being 9-0, and then having Odebolt Arthur coming to town again, right? Like you guys were there to see that game earlier this year. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and just talking with the staffs, I mean, I think Kemper is the most dynamic with playmakers. They got a lot of great playmakers. So I almost have to play a perfect game to beat them. But yeah, I mean, Cherokee sits on the other side of that bracket. Played, Spirit Lake got to the championship game last year, and 58-57, overtime win. I would have loved to have been at that game. That had to be just an unbelievable game. So Cherokee. Unity Christian will be interesting. Unity Christian survives too, and they're 4-5 now.
It's wild. And that's pod A. Pod B, then we come to a little bit more of the Binger quadrant with Pella Christian 3-6.
You kind of called that with the win over Clarinda last week. That was one that we were keeping our eye on. So
I didn't know if Pella Christian would be able to go down there and get it. And I was watching a little bit of kind of the scores and stuff, and actually watching some of those through the Watch Iowa High School Sports Association website. And we'll talk about that a little later too. And Pella Christian was behind early, and then they came back and kind of made it happen. So pretty cool what they made happen. And then on the other side, so Pella Christian wins big, but then they have to go to PCM. And then Wilton and West Branch.
Yeah, I mean, between West Branch, Roland Story, Van Meter, Mid Prairie, I don't know. We haven't seen Osage in a while. They seem like they're unbeaten, and Alburnette's had a good year. So,
and Van Meter is always Van Meter. So
yeah, we were probably going to Van Meter, Roland Story tonight. That was one of our picks. Ankeny and Southeast Polk was one of our picks, but the Norsemen, it's really great to see them hosting in a round of 16 here.
And I'm sure all the folks in Johnston are mad at us too, with Ankeny Centennial coming to town. That's one that we should be at.
Yeah, I would love to be at that game. Yeah.
So the other stuff that we had, Class 1A. So Pod C is the most important pod in all of high school football.
It's an interesting pod. Cascade at Regina tonight. That'll be a tough one. And Hudson Pirates get a win last week. Pleasantville comes to town, so see if the Trojans can survive and advance.
That's interesting. The 8-1 Pleasantville Trojans, with the one loss without Braylon Bingham, will go to the 5-4 Hudson Pirates.
Yeah, it's funny that I know that they got a couple of kids out, but it was just so weird. We were up there doing stuff for Bing Bang, of course, up in Ames. Early Saturday morning, I'm up there working, and I'm just shooting some video. And the next thing I know, somebody grabs me, and it was Braylon. I mean, what the hell was he doing at Jack Trice? But yeah, I think
Mr. just visit everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was funny. As we were having conversations with him this week, it's the guy can kind of go and do whatever he wants. He's at Iowa, he's at Iowa State. He can go to New Mexico State. He can go. He's got everything. At his fingertips right now.
And in the middle of this, when we were in this stage, when you got to play in the playoffs, or we were trying to make a run when I was in school, I mean, you just couldn't imagine oh yeah, I'm just going to run up to Ames Saturday and then do this and then go hang out with the Hawkeye staff, or, it's crazy with these kids. And obviously he's one of the most emotionally mature Binghams in the history of Bingham. So we'll give him that.
100%. So that'll be fun. See what Pleasantville can take care of business. Does Regina take care of business? That line us up a Pleasantville-Regina matchup, a rematch from last year.
West Lion, but I mean, Underwood might be really good too, and they're headed to West Marshall. We'll find out just how good
Underwood might have the best player in Class 1A.
In Lou, yeah.
At the quarterback. And so, again, that's a huge impact moment. Can Underwood go beat West Marshall? And then can Underwood or West Marshall, do they have a dog that can go take care of West Lion?
Well, and Ridgeview's coming on. Coach Wilkins' son playing quarterback there, and they got a big win over Trice Center last week. A team that was in this kind of that Cinderella team, and they get to go get South Hardin, and South Hardin definitely played Grundy tough. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about Grundy and Regina and West Lion. This is you almost don't want to be in 1A. You almost rather be in 3. You almost rather be in 3A or something.
Just bump me up. I'll go play 2A, 3A, and somebody told me the other day, I think it was Grant Burns, PCM, and he's like, West Lion is a college football team.
Yeah, they are. I heard LeVar Woods talking the other day about Weegan and special teams and stuff like that. You just realize that why we like football and some of these cultures, the men that they create. I mean, he was a talented football player at Iowa and played in the NFL, but just the kind of kid that you want your kid to be. And it seems like LeVar was just playing football for West Lion a few years ago, but Roseboom and what they've done there it's legendary. It'd be great to follow them for a whole year.
That would be fun. And it was cool, I think, even to watch them at the state baseball tournament too.
Yeah. It's in their whole community, isn't it?
just to watch kids compete. And they probably weren't great baseball players, but they showed up and competed, and that was
Oh
fun.
yeah. Yeah.
So Class A, then we've got MMCRU, with Galen Catholic coming to them. And then on the other side, Madrid at Woodbury Central. So a lot of undefeated teams left in Class A.
Well, the story that I haven't found out because we're too busy at work is how Galen Catholic went in and beat Britt and what's going on there. There's got to be a great storyline, and I'm sure we'll be able to tell that at some point because that's what we want to do. But I mean, Remsen Union, like I said last week, they've got a Harpino running the show there. So anytime you got, it's pronounced 1,000 different ways, but I say
Yeah.
Harpino, some say Harpin, whatever. But,
Harpino.
yeah, they got something special going there. But St. Ansgar, Pekin looks like they're back. I mean, BGM comes back over to this side of the country after going to Riverside last week and that big
Wow.
win.
What a
35-30. Did you look at the stats?
No, I'm gonna pull them up right now.
Yeah, why don't you go pull up the stats? But they're gonna be playing a little closer to home. Nice, Sully's not that far away. But then you've got, a 5-time champ, I think, in Wapsie Valley. They haven't smelled blood up at the Dome in a while. And West Sioux, we've talked a lot about all the great players there, and they're going to be right in the mix. And we've seen ACGC in Madrid. So what do we got?
All right, so I'm trying to pull this up, see if we can see it here. So this would have been BGM Riverside, 35-30 BGM win. Bo Burns was 11 of 16 for 122 yards, no touchdowns.
Yep.
Pretty bad game for Bo Burns. Oh wait,
that's not. Yeah, that's just passing. He doesn't pass.
Bo Burns had 36 carries.
Yeah, it's like he's healthy.
301 yards rushing, five touchdowns.
5 tutties.
I don't remember what we were saying last week. Somebody'd have to refresh us, like exactly what we were talking about. Was it an over-under of points on this game?
I don't remember.
I don't either. But, then, Jackson Gordon. I think we were definitely talking Jackson. Jackson Gordon had 18 carries, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So maybe it's over-under on points.
I think it was over-under on their rushing yards might have been. I think we were saying like in the 400s.
So BGM had 363 yards rushing. And let's take a look here. 268 yards rushing for Riverside. So pretty amazing, actually, when you think about that. Pretty wild.
It was a big win for BGM. I mean, that was special for them. They'll remember. That's what's great about the playoffs. I mean, both schools, both kids, both that played in those games will remember them. But
and then BGM gets probably their rival, and
yeah,
Sully.
Yeah.
So that could get feisty, and I think Bo Burns again could raise his stake in Player of the Year talk.
Yeah.
He goes, what could he do tonight? That could be amazing. He ran for 300 yards last week? Could he run for 400 tonight?
Yeah, I mean, if he gets them to the Dome, that's going to be quite an accomplishment to beat Sully and Wapsie Valley after getting Riverside. I mean, that would legendary status in Brooklyn for a lifetime.
I believe big players make big plays in big games.
Absolutely. Yeah, so, I don't know. Like, we should just be like, there's not anybody to. I mean, we even talked about Woodbury Central. They got Madrid, and I mean, this is nuts.
Yeah. So what do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9-0 teams left.
Yeah.
And not all of those folks are getting to the Dome because only 4 survive.
There's some fun teams in 8-player too. Like the game I went back and I tried to look at and tried to get a feel for was the Clarksville game. They played Coon Rapids Bayard. I think it was 78-68.
Oh,
and I never went back and looked at it, but they get Don Bosco tonight, so that'll be an interesting matchup. Of course, I'm the Bishop Garrigan homer.
You are.
Marty Wadley's my guy, but we got to have a relative on Southeast Warren. So the Wheelers are pretty good. They got Montezuma tonight. Montezuma's a high scoring outfit. So, and then we got tons of players of the year. Oh my gosh, the Kriegel. I mean, there's so many 8-player guys just putting up numbers in Kriegel and.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at like Kriegel and Iowa Valley, they play Janesville tonight, but then on the other side, Montezuma is always a part of unbelievable 8-player games. And then Audubon, so there's 9-0 teams just stacked everywhere there. And Something's got to give.
Yeah. Woodbine and Edgewood. I mean, these teams are all unbeaten, so you just don't know until you get them there.
And then we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Bedford. Todd
Never out of
Steitz
it.
Come through and come beat us up if we don't talk about Bedford.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, it'll be fun to see kind of what all happens. Let me pop this up here too. I just got official confirmation, which is pretty cool here.
Well, as you're getting official confirmation, I think the thing that I love the most is getting the opportunity to see these kids in the dome for the last 30 years, watch them compete, and then seeing where they end up, and then they just become like your family. And the funny thing was, like, we were talking about Inwood West Lion and Central Lion, Georgia Little Rock is kind of in that category too. But they had Zach Lutmer leading them for a couple of years. He's just one of those kids that he's like not going to let his team lose. And he played quarterback, and he was so much fun to watch. And he was so tough. And Vanderzee was on the team, but he wasn't Zach Lutmer, right? But then that was the same thing when Gordon was the quarterback at Grundy Center, and then Judd Javosky took over. It's like, oh, okay, he's really good too, and you don't know that. But then Vanderzee had an impact before Lutmer at Iowa just because of the dynamics. But now people are starting to see what we saw up with the Dome and Zach Lutmer. I mean, he might not be, Cooper DeJean or anything, but he is, and even Weegan and how they develop these kids and it's just, I don't know. That's the thing that I love the most. I absolutely can't wait to watch these kids at the Dome, to see who's who and to see what's next. And the Graves kid and all these kids that play for Iowa State, it's fun to watch them develop.
So what I was just looking at, so there's a new site out on the Iowa High School Athletic Association's webpage. So if you go to the ihsaa.org/watch.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the state showcase and the playoff side. So this is the video side with the round of 16. So any games that they're live streaming, they're broadcasting, they're all populated here.
Yeah, we're 4 hours, less than 4 hours from kickoff, less than 2 hours from kickoff for, I don't know if the first one's being done at Kemper or not. I know they're not all possible there, but what they do have is they're showing you everything possible. So,
yep, the live stream is scheduled to begin, here pretty shortly, 4:50 Central Time, ready to rock and roll. So Chris just emailed me back. And it's cool what Chris and the folks at the Iowa High School Athletic Association are doing. Just amazing things. This is something new, cool that they're trying, they're pushing out, and it's a cool way of showcasing the student athletes. So that is the link. So at the ihsaa.org/watch, you can get all of these showcase and kind of share games. And what he was talking about is he was telling me that they should have 35 games on the showcase tonight. 17 games are produced and distributed by schools and media. Then 4 games are produced by the National Federation of High School Network. And so just talking about a pretty cool thing that they're doing, that they're pushing out. And, us as fans that can't get to every game, this is a cool way to be able to go watch some of these teams that we've been talking about all year. And, if you're in Central Iowa and you want to go watch, let's say, Pleasantville at Hudson, like you can just take a look and see Braylon Bingham live and in person on your screen, which will be pretty cool. But I know, Dave, as you were kind of talking about this earlier too, there's nothing like being at a football Friday night.
Well, and I think that's the best part is having both. And I think both of them promote the sport. And that's what I think everybody's finally learning is like the more, the better. And the more that we talk about these kids, the more that we show some of these things. I just think if you have a young person that's excited about their high school football program from the age of, 7 or 8 or whatever they can handle. Most of those 7 or 8-year-olds are just like when we were at Guthrie Center the other night, they're just like beating the hell out of each other right next to us while I'm trying to edit. I'm like, did you guys do you know, and I mean, I'm not mad at them. I'm just like, but you can move your game just a little and they'd come running in and roll. I mean, so but there's an awareness there of getting those young people to the game to get the sense of what's happening. I think it's really special, but obviously for now we can, get it out there to everybody. We could have, the grandma and grandpas at Mill Pond. We've got mom up here, they can turn on the game and they can watch it together. And that's what a great opportunity to be able to do that.
Yeah. Pretty pretty cool to be able to see those games and see those kids and athletes in action, and everybody be able to witness, this exceptional talent. And so it'll be fun. It's going to be a fun football Friday night. Are you ready? Like, I mean, you've kind of shot a lot of stuff here in the last couple weeks. Can you
Yeah,
handle
we
it?
didn't have a day off. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how many days in a row we worked. But, I just got a thought too, Kim's mom, Kathy, the whole time that we've been married, she wasn't much of a sports fan. And then like 3 or 4 years ago, she became an expert on the Kansas City Chiefs. So and Caitlin Clark. So she'll text me like she didn't watch any sports. And now she does watch more than I do. I mean, she'll watch NBA. She likes Steph Curry. And so I never even thought about hooking her up and being like, you can watch Pleasantville football games in the playoffs. Because if I did that, she would be texting me everything that we're doing wrong or what we are, and it's really great. She's like, I'm done with Patrick Mahomes. And I'm just like, Kathy, you gotta relax a little bit. But
I'm not, Kathy. He's winning me a lot of football games.
but isn't this neat to think about, putting those live streams in for a group watch, at some of these community places where it would bring people together. I think that's one of the coolest things about it, because you've heard the stories of the grandparents or the relatives that can't be at these things. So I think that's pretty special.
Yeah, and just kudos to Chris and the whole team over there at the Iowa High School Athletic Association for doing something new and innovative like this to draw and build community together. So pretty awesome to see that come to life and build that, which is pretty
But
cool.
don't be that guy that's like, it's a little chilly, I'm going to stay home. If you can go to the game.
Are you talking about somebody in like, do you have somebody in mind? Are you calling somebody out?
No, I'm just saying, like,
I thought you were calling the Merriweather folks out.
No, I'm not. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying this is the playoffs, man. This is like get out there and get in the environment and see this thing up close and personal. I am just so lucky to be on the sidelines. I don't know if I could go sit in the stands. So I'm sorry, I'm privileged in that way, but if I'm a fan, a parent, a grandparent, and you're, put the coat on, get the stocking cap and get out there.
Go hit somebody. All right, one more little segment we got. Let's wrap up this segment with this. Little walkie Halloween highlight.
Waukee going to Liberty, Waterloo West coming back to Central Iowa to take on Dallas. It was raining the whole time we were out there. You can't really tell.
But actually, there you can tell.
It wasn't that big a deal. We could handle it. I might wear my boots tonight.
Oh, you got to get the boots out. Playoff.
Hankinson's going to Texas A&M. Pretty good football player right there. Future Aggie. Good
all right.
boy.
Our 12th man. All right. That was one of the craziest football Friday nights I remember. You had a buddy who was texting.
Did you go over there with me?
Yeah. He was like doing the holler or the scream or whatever.
Yeah. He was on the yell squad. Old Craig Winan. Yeah. I think Stites went with us. By the way, I destroyed him. He was mouthing off last week, and I destroyed him in fantasy football. I'm leading that league because that's a league where smartest guys can actually win. It's not luck.
Oh, is that what you're calling our fantasy football?
Oh, ours is pretty much a grinder. If you get a couple guys hurt, your season's over.
Yeah, it is. Our league is hard. A 16-team league, it is the real deal. All right, last thing that we're going to get out of this Halloween segment with is, so Gracen was playing basketball. He's on the basketball team here at Keswick. And Keswick goes to a big football game tonight against Jupiter Christian, clear down in Miami in their first round of the playoffs. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. We were talking basketball shoes, and Grayson's trying to find basketball shoes. And it's funny, like when you're the baseball player of the basketball team, it's like, just go buy some trainers, dude. Like, you don't buy the actual basketball shoes because you just need them to be turf shoes for your baseball stuff. And so we were kind of talking about like, fine. And he's like, I got to be basketball guy. I got to find basketball shoes. And so it really kind of brought me back the last couple of days as we were looking at basketball shoes again. And it was like, what are your top 3 basketball shoes?
Oh, I'd probably go back in my room and grab my Larry Bird Converse. Yeah.
So your Larry Bird Converse are probably number one. This is gonna show our age, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they were black, and then they just had the white Converse with a little bit of hunter green on them, a Celtic green. But oh man, I still have them. I mean, they're phenomenal. But um, anything high top Converse. I mean, that was ever the top tens when you. This is before your time, but late '70s, Adidas came out with a basketball shoe called the Adidas Top 10. That was really the first thing. It's like this is a basketball shoe. It makes you better. And I think like Jeff Cook, we were talked about him a little bit too much on the show, but like he was no good at basketball, but our team was really good because we had Mike Brown. And I think if I remember right, Jeff had a pair of Adidas Top 10. It
So
was the only
that's
thing
the
that
reason he was any good because he had good shoes.
yeah, but that was the only reason he could play.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
those
guy with good shoes, you can play. But
we'll have to ask those guys on the message board if they had Adidas Top 10. But those were such a cool shoe. And obviously I went through the era where Nike, came along and then the Jordans came. But just the
have you ever
Converse.
owned a pair of Jordans?
What's that?
Have you?
I liked Michael Jordan. He was one of my guys. I loved him at Carolina. I had a Carolina poster and everything, and I liked him way before he got to the Bulls. But because of the Celtic dynamic, and I was such a Celtics fan that I just never latched on to the Air Jordans. I don't think I owned a lot of pair of Nike, but I don't think I ever had a specific Michael Jordan one. But definitely the Converse Adidas Top 10.
All right. So mine, as I was kind of prepping for this, it was kind of funny because I came back to the Scott Courseman. We're going to wear our basketball shoes to the dome.
Yeah.
And I remember what the shoes were. I don't know
what
why, but like I just remember what they were. I remember seeing them, everything. And so they were Sean Kemp Reebok Kamikazes.
Oh, really?
And they were just cool, and I loved them. Like
were they black and orange or
black and white? But they had all this random stuff on the outside. It was the same time I think the Reebok Kamikazes were up against. I think Ken Griffey had like this Air shoe.
Yeah,
and they were both kind of the same shoe. So I liked both of those a lot. And then probably my all-time favorite, probably second. I'm going to say second all-time favorite was Allen Iverson had the Answer.
Oh yeah.
And I played like the Answer when I had his shoes on. I mean, I was just legit. So I think like they were white and they had little orange toes. And so I was the Answer in the Answer. And then probably my favorite shoes. I don't think I ever played in them. I think this actually ultimately killed my basketball career once I got these because I realized we're like Jeff Cook was better with good shoes.
Well, yeah, because you had some Jeff Cook qualities as a player. You should have played. You had good timing. I'm still pissed that you quit.
Well, but I think I got the Jordan 11s this year that I was done. So I had the cool basketball shoes. I was the basketball guy, everything. And then all of a sudden it was like, you're not very good at basketball. I needed to be the guy wearing the trail shoes playing basketball.
Like you weren't going to get in much, but when you get in, you just go in and, I mean, Cook was definitely better than you, but I mean, he was taller.
So I think the Jordan 11s, well, probably my favorite basketball shoes of all time. And those are the white ones with the black kind of like metallic all the way around the base of them.
Yeah.
Like, I think they probably ruined my basketball career. And so looking back on it and trying to tell Gracen plays basketball very similar to me, not very well.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
he's got to find his role. Like
I'm like, you should be the guy to wear Brooks. You need to be the Brooks basketball guy. He's like, Dad, those aren't basketball shoes. And I'm like, exactly. Like they know you're a little different. Like, wear them.
Yeah, my uncle wears these, for support. These are cool.
Yeah. And so now I am a Brooks guy all of a sudden, like after making fun of you for your Brooks shoes. And so I blame Drew Carlson.
Yeah, with Luke, basically.
I blame him for my Brooks all of a sudden, because if you wouldn't have had to go kill that raccoon or get that raccoon out of the way, you would have never known you were a Brooks guy.
Yeah, they're awesome. Those are great shoes. Yeah, I had a pair, but not the super whatever deluxe, but they're sweet.
Are you wearing the Brooks out? What's your footwear of choice going to be tonight?
No, I might wear my Keens. I just think like it's overkill to wear warm, but I just when you're ready to go, like put a pad on somebody and just be. I'm not the guy in high school that would have went without the sleeves. I wouldn't have like had too much when it was cold. You wouldn't show too much, but as a shooter, as a 57-year-old, 30-year vet out there, shooting games. I am going to be warm and toasty. I'm not going to chance it. I might even wear. I mean, it's going to be below 40, so I might even wear a layer under the jeans tonight. But yeah, I might just go with the Keen boot tonight. I mean, I got a pair of nice like Thursday boot, but so I could shoot in those. But I don't know, they're not as for sure warm. So yeah, definitely ditching tennis shoes tonight and going boot.
Going boot. The hand warmers coming out yet?
Oh, I have gloves last week just in case, and I used them. So definitely wearing this. This hand goes numb, and then I get it warm back up, and then I get life in it. But it always freezes because when you're on that steel of the
Yep.
camera, you're just like, so it'll go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the playoff atmosphere is fantastic. The next 2 weeks are going to be great, and then the 21 games in the dome, awesome.
All right, we'll be back next week with your round of 8.
Yeah.
All right, happy Halloween, happy Football Friday. We'll see you later.